What's the deal, beloveds? It's your boy Zay back with another brand new banger for y'all. This is Life of Zay. Hey, thank you for clicking on that channel. Check it out if you're new here. Look around the channel, see if there's something for you. If there ain't, good riddance to you. But if there is, what I need y'all to do is hit that subscribe button down below. Also, turn the bell on so you know when I drop these bangers. If you're already part of the family, man, y'all already know how I do it. I appreciate y'all. Hey, man, thank you for rocking with me this far. We're going to keep it pushing. Right now, we're sitting at 1,827 subs. The subs are going down a little bit because right now we signed up for something for YouTube to weed out all the accounts that aren't legit accounts. So the bot accounts are getting weeded out. We'll still be in a good area. You know what I mean? I don't want to have no fake stuff on my channel. But anyway, y'all know what it is. Tonight's Saturday night, and guess what it is? Crazy Y'all Know Us. You guessed it right. This one's gonna be called Accustomed to the Struggle. Basically, I wanna talk to y'all a little bit and tell y'all a story of my life, how I came accustomed to it. How it seemed like everyday life to me. And which it did, you know. And it's like that for a lot of people as well. They become accustomed to the struggle because it's all that we know. It's what we, you know, when you're growing up, the things you learn is what is gonna make or break you or shape you, you know what I mean? And that's basically what it is. It shaped me. The struggle shaped me. So, you know, as far as I can remember, we didn't ever have anything, you know, like, I mean, of course we had a house and stuff like that, but we were pretty poor, you know. The guy that I talk about as my dad, he's my stepdad. He's been with me since I was 4 years old. I call him my dad because he was there when I graduated kindergarten, you know. He was there when I caught my first charge, you know, everything. He was there through everything. He still is, you know, so that's my dad. But my real dad, before he was a drug dealer, you know, so before he left to prison, by the way, he's been in prison for 24 years, 25 years, something like that, man. It's been a while, but you know, he was a drug dealer, so he had some type of stuff. After he left, though, Mom had to do it on her own, you know, and it wasn't easy for her. I mean, 3 mouths to feed with just you and your partners took care of you all your life. You know, it's hard, man. So she did what she could, but we never really had much, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's just different growing up, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have all the extra shit. We didn't know what that was at first, but when we started to find out, you know, it kind of sucks because other kids have that stuff that you don't have, you know. But I've learned to be accustomed to it, you know. That's what we got. That's what we're gonna have to deal with. So basically, as my life started to unravel, you know, I realized that everybody around me, all my surroundings, my family, everybody was really poor, you know what I mean? And I kind of thought that was the way, you know. That was the way that stuff went, you know, and it's not, obviously. Now I realize that now, but I didn't know that back then, you know what I mean? I thought that everybody got food stamps. I thought that everybody was on HUD. I thought that everybody had to pay $20 for rent a month, and it's not like that, let me tell you. But you know, I had to adapt to it, you know what I mean? I had to adapt to my surroundings. I had to adapt to what I was going through, what I was dealing with, where my life was at that point. I didn't have another choice, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a family member that they can just whisk me off to and life will be so much better. It wasn't like that for us, you know what I mean? We had to survive, you know. We started our life in the base. It's called the base. Roswell, New Mexico. It's probably one of the, what most places would call it projects. That's what the base is, but it's big. It's like a section of town that's just really, really poor, you know. And I grew up on there. And Chihuahua is also another place that's really poor, you know. And that's just what we grew up with. That's just the way it was, and we didn't see any different, you know what I mean? It's not always easy, you know. I know that there was times when we didn't even have food to eat, you know, and we had to eat at like a soup kitchen or something like that. There was times where we didn't have bills for months, you know what I mean? Like, we lived in a house with no electricity. We lived in a house with no water on. We're turning our bills on illegally just because I don't know how it was back then for my parents, you know what I mean? But I know they were going through things. I know that they were struggling with addiction as well, as most people in a poverty and stricken environment do. So they were struggling with addiction, you know. On top of that, having to raise, you know, that was 5 of us. So raise 5 kids on top of that. And, you know, a lot of times, like I said, we didn't have the We didn't have the stuff everybody had. My my dad would try though. You know, we'd always get school clothes even if it was just a little bit or whatever, or if we had to go to assistance league to get them to us free, like we would always do that. You know what I mean? And I grew up as that kid, like that poor kid that didn't have nothing. So, you know, when you're in the struggle and you become accustomed with it, you got to find a way to make it out of that, to make something better of that. So that's what I did. And you know, for most people, it's not always something good. It wasn't good for me, bro. Like literally, I was 12 years old, 11 years old, and I started selling methamphetamine. I started selling meth, you know, and that led to, you know, starting to sell heroin. It's just, you know, I had to get it on my own, bro. I didn't have nobody to give me the things that I needed. So when I was like 12 years old, you know, I had money in my pocket. I was able to buy the Jordans and the Nikes, and I can still remember it like yesterday. You know, me and my best friend, he used to be my best friend. You know, his life is really bad now, but we used to wake up every day, go to First Cafeteria and eat, and then we just trap all day until the night, and then we go to sleep. You know, go mess with some homies, go mess with some girls, whatever it was, and then we just go home and sleep. We slept in a garage, me and him, and we made this. We made the garage. I mean, we bought blankets, bed, everything. We made the garage our room. You know what I mean? At my mom's house, and when we did that, it was like, it was just really dope. You know what I mean? We continued to sell the drugs or whatever we had to do, and then off of that, that's when my first charge came. You know, we moved to Woody Drive, and that was the first time I visited juvenile hall. I started visiting it, you know, for weekends because I was getting in trouble. I had some weapons at school, and I got caught with it. It was an ongoing thing that I was doing, but when I caught my charge, you know what I mean, that was when everything really stopped. He was actually with me when I caught my charge that same day, and I don't know, my first charge that I caught, though, I was with him and my best friend Dominic, and he got away. Dominic and me didn't, you know, and that just started the road to jails and prisons and facilities and all this shit. But like I was saying, when you become accustomed to the struggle, you have to you'll do anything to get out of that struggle. You'll do anything to stop feeling those hunger pains, you know what I mean? And that's what I had to do, bro. Like, I literally got tired of not having nothing to eat, and I wasn't, it's not like I'm asking for shit that people have, like the extras. Like, I didn't really care for the Jordans and all that shit until I started trapping. Then that's when it came, you know. When I started trapping, it was over. I got everything I wanted, you know, take all my homies to the fair, everything. But before I started trapping, though, I didn't care about Jordans. I didn't care about, you know, the Ralph Lauren shirts, none of that stuff. But what I did care about was something to eat, a place to shower, you know. And like I said, man, I was literally 12, 11 years old, and I had a hotel room. There was a friend of mine. She was older. She was like 30. Her name was Tabitha. Rest in peace, Tabitha. She's gone now. But, you know, Tabitha was always right there with me, man. Like, she was like a mom figure. Always right there with me. Every hotel, and making sure I didn't get burned. Because, keep in mind, I was a little kid with a gun and selling drugs. And I know it's probably hard for y'all to visualize. But visualize that an 11-year-old, I didn't have my parents to tell me what to do, you know. Because they were, like I said, they were struggling with addiction. So, when that happened, I just kept pushing, you know. I kept selling drugs. I would be in hotel to hotel, you know. I had a little kid, but that was a place to shower, you know what I mean. Tabitha would make sure that I had food, you know, that I had clothes. They would go steal me clothes and stuff like that. And, you know, I've always had a good head on my shoulders, man. I've always been a leader. Like, everything I do, I'm gonna make sure that I excel at that, and I'm a leader. And it was weird. It was weird to see, like, now thinking back on it, it's really weird to see, like, this whole group of adults surrounded by a little kid who got that. You know, he's the man who got that, and that's what I was, bro. You know, the homie put me on, and I hit the ground running. I never stopped in the trap. And I mean, I was making, for being 11 years old, like, no joke, no cap, none of that shit, I was probably pulling like $600 a day max, you know what I mean? But I was doing really good. And I just kept pushing. I got my first car at 12 years old. You know, like I said, I was in the apartment, or in the hotel building. I had firearms in there. It was just crazy, man. Like, stuff that a little kid shouldn't go through, you know. But I went through that, and I found a way out of it. I've always been a person to find a way out of it. Like, I'll never just sit there and accept what's to come. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never do that, bro. I did it for a long time, and you know what makes me feel like, you know what makes me not do that is that I remember how hard it was to hear my mom cry because we didn't have the bills on or whatever. The bills gonna get turned off tomorrow, and I remember having to see my dad hustle as much as he can to try to pay that bill. I remember how it feels to not have food. I remember how it feels to literally get beans for dinner. That's it. Like, I remember how that shit feels, bro. And when I remember that, it pushes me to do something, like to drive, to get more. I don't care what I have to do. I'll always be that person. You know what I mean? Just nowadays, I'm trying to do it the legal way. I don't want to do it illegal no more. But you know, there's been many times when I've tried to do this, but I went right back to the block because that's all I know. You know what I mean? And it's just the way things had to go for me. You know what I mean? But that started to mold my life and make me into who I am and the man that I needed to be. So those hunger pains will make you hungry, you feel me? And like I said, I became accustomed to it, and I had to accept it. I had to accept where we're at. I had to accept my life, you know, until I'm able to change it, because I'm not able to change it. What are you supposed to do whenever you're 10 years old and you can't get a job, bro? Like, you can't get a job, and people don't realize, like, this shit's real. There's 10-year-olds out here hustling, you know what I mean? Out here trapping because they got a broken home they got a broken home, bro, and there ain't no money coming in the home, and that's the shit I was on, bro. So with that, like I said, I learned at a young age, and I knew one thing I knew, you know, growing up, is that the guys that trap, everybody, they always have money, you know what I mean? And I had this big homie, he was a plug, and I asked him one day, I said, how do you manage to look a certain way and be better than all this shit that's out here? Like, everybody I see is on drugs, everybody I see is skinny, everybody I see is trying to get cans together to get money, shit like that, bro. And he said, you know what? I was young, and I seen that I didn't want that for myself. And we're out here. You know what I mean? We're out here. This is what we gotta live with. This is what we got. This is how we got that. We gotta accept that. But you don't have to use these drugs. And in return, you could sell these drugs and make money, and that's what I did, bro. I've never been one. My bad. My girl's fault. My girl's a little loose on the top. I never been one to use drugs. You know what I mean? Never. And that's what everybody's seen about me. You know what I mean? I'd have, and I know it's hard to believe, bro, but I'm telling you, I can't say names. I won't say names, but if I could, y'all would know. But I've had plugs that are real plugs that are doing things, that are buying houses and shit. Hear about me when I was 11, come to me, say, yo, you're 12 years old and you're out here doing it. You're really doing it. Come work for me. I never worked for nobody, bro. I fronted one time in my life, and that was it. I fronted 2 8-balls off my big homie, and with those 2 8-balls, I turned that into an ounce of meth. Ounce of meth is probably worth $3,500. Off that ounce of meth, I doubled up on that boom, and I started hitting it hard, and I never stopped. You know what I mean? And that ultimately led to my first adult conviction. Yeah, but you know, when you're, and again, I'm not trying to tell anybody sell drugs. I'm not trying to promote it. But whether people see that, whether people see it as that or whatever, I don't fucking care. What I can tell y'all is whatever situation you're in, and you gotta accept that. If that's how it is, find your way out. I don't give a shit if it's trapping. I don't care if it's just going to school. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta trap, bro. You don't have to do that shit. But it's gonna be a hard ride. You're not gonna be able to take care of yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what my parents couldn't even take care of themselves. How are they gonna take care of me? You know what I mean? So I started trapping, bro. I started trying to take care of people, and that's what, you know, I got this heart that my mom has, and I just give, bro. I just try to help. I try to take care of people, and you know, my main goal to start trapping was I want to feed my little brother and sister. You know, I want to feed my family, man, and I always made sure that we had food no matter what, bro. My parents couldn't do it, you know. Things got better later on. My dad did his own thing, you know, and he became like really high, like the plug out here, but that's a whole nother story I'm not gonna tell. But yeah, man, I got tired of living that way, and I had to become accustomed to that, because I know that's what the surroundings were. And since, like I said, since I was a kid, I never had a bad head on my shoulders. I always knew that I want more. I don't want to be like these people on drugs. I don't want to be like these people that don't have shit. I don't want to be hungry no more. And that shit drove me and made me do something with myself, and that's what I did, bro. And a lot of people might look at it as a sucker way, but let me tell you something. You look at it as a sucker way to do shit. What the fuck is a 12-year-old supposed to do? What 12-year-old do you know that can work? What 12-year-old do you know that has a better way? There wasn't no better way for me at all. There wasn't. So I did the first thing that I knew would make money. You know what I mean? And I did it really good, bro. Like before I got my charge, man. I was really doing it. You know, I left $3,500. 12 years old, $3,500 with my grandma, and I was doing it, bro. That's the money. And it wasn't even that. I had $5,000 left after I stopped when I got caught. I had 5 racks. I took that shit with me to jail, and I was living off that. You know, I was having them send me money off that. I went to a program because my courts were taking too long, but I still had $5,000. Like I had $5,000 from the trap, and that's what I lived off some of that. You know, and like I said, my grandma. The rest, the $3,500, I gave it to my grandma when I was going up to boys' school. But like I said, man, I know the shit ain't easy, but when you come accustomed to something, you gotta find a way out. And it's just like I became accustomed to the struggle, and I realized that this is where I'm at. I ain't somewhere else. This ain't something I just pass by and see. This is where I'm at. This is my reality. We don't have food. We don't have bills on in the house. This is my reality. And I gotta accept that, and I'm gonna accept what comes with it, and whatever I gotta do to make it out of that, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, I'm not promoting drug dealing. I'm not promoting trapping, none of that shit. But whatever you have to do, nobody's in that situation but you. Nobody. Don't let them judge you off of what you have to do to take care of yourself, because shit ain't easy when you're a little kid. Now, if you're 30 years old and you're out there still trying to do this shit, get fucking real, bro. Get a life. You know what I mean? Like, if you're 30 years old and you're still using that excuse that you don't have nothing, come on, man. That shit's stupid. But if you're a little kid and you don't have no other way, I would never judge you for that, because I was that little kid that didn't have no other way. I was that little kid that got fucking laughed at for eating at the soup kitchen, having to eat Thanksgiving dinner at a fucking community kitchen. You know what I mean? What do you think that does to a person's confidence? But guess what? The next year around, when the next year came around, I had 10 pairs of shoes and I had fucking $2,500 in my pocket that I'm about to blow at the fair. Like, I was really trapping out here, man. As a little kid, because I fell in love with money, you know. People say that money don't buy happiness, but guess what? Whenever you come from where I came from, it don't buy happiness, but it makes you okay for the time, you know. And I'll always have a respect for money because of that. Because happiness to me is being able to eat. Happiness to me is being able to have a house with your bills on and take a warm shower, not a cold ass one. And that's what money did. So the people that tell you that money don't buy happiness are suckers that never been through the struggle. Because if you've been through the struggle, you know firsthand how hard this shit is. You know firsthand how many times you gotta take a cold bath in the winter and you can't even fucking move for 20 minutes after that bath because it was so cold. All it is cold water. That's the shit I had to grow up with. Sleeping on floors and shit. It don't matter if there's roaches there, you're sleeping on the floor, bro, or you ain't gonna sleep. Guess what? That's how shit is. And that's what I had to accept, because that's what I was given. So, you know, it is what it is. But whenever, like I said, man, these people that ain't ever been through it, they're the ones that'll judge somebody for being 11 or 12 years old and selling drugs because there ain't no other way, because mom and dad can't do it. They're the ones that'll judge because they ain't been through that shit. But trust me, I've been through that and I lived it firsthand. And like I said, I'll forever, I ain't proud of selling drugs, but I'm proud of being able to take care of myself at that age when nobody would. You know what I mean? And that ultimately formed me into a person that can't be broken, bro. I will never use drugs. I will never be a crackhead out here. You know, none of that shit, bro. None of that, because you know why? I seen what it does to people, and I seen the effect of it, bro. And it's not good, man. At all. You know, if you're in a situation where you feel like there's no out, you gotta find a way. You have to find a way, because that's what I did. Even as a little ass kid when my mind ain't developed fully, I found a way out. And I made it out, bro. I never went back. I've never felt those hunger pains again. Never. And I never will. And my kids never will. And their kids' kids won't. And their kids' kids won't. It's gonna keep going for generations and generations, because this shit stops with me, bro. Like, there's no way that my kids will feel what I felt. And if you're feeling that, I'm sorry, man. Like, trust me, I feel you, bro. Like, I've been through that. You know what I mean? I felt that. I lived that shit. And my heart goes out to y'all, but I'm telling y'all, You gotta find a way, bro. Because brighter days, you know, a lot of people, oh, brighter days will come. They're not gonna come. They're not gonna come for a very long time. You need to find your own way. It don't matter what it is. Like I said, you don't gotta sell drugs, but find your way out of this shit, because you gotta be able to stop this continuing cycle of shit that we have to deal with. I want to stop it. I don't want to deal with it no more. So you guys can stop it too. You know, just keep pushing. Find your way out. Do something that helps you. You know what I mean? Do something that makes it to where you can get out of this shit, because no one's gonna help you, bro. You're gonna have to help yourself. Yeah, man, that's my take on accustomed to the struggle. You know, you gotta accept it for what it is. You can't just pick and choose what you get or what card you get dealt, because it's not how life works. But what you can pick and choose is your actions on how you better that. So keep that in mind. I hope y'all have a good night tonight, man. Keep God at your center. Continue praying. I'm gonna try to get this out tonight. I appreciate all y'all, man. Y'all are really helping me out with this YouTube stuff. I really need some more comments. You know, keep the comments coming. Keep the subs coming. Keep the shares coming. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know, man. This is crazy to y'all, normal to us, because that should be crazy to y'all, but it's just normal life to us. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. I'm Zay, and I'm out.